Chancellor Nostros Callahan of Argent University has made the startling announcement that he will relinquish his post exactly 1 week from today. As an influential member of the university staff, this is just the opportunity you've been waiting for. A secret consortium of voters is being called together from all across the world to elect the new chancellor. And you have just this 1 week to secure your hold over the university before this vote takes place. But you're not alone in these ambitions. Others in the university would like nothing more than to fill the vacuum of power themselves. Only the most cunning and powerful among you will be elected by the consortium as the new Chancellor of Argent, the most influential mage in the world of Indians.
Hello everyone, thank you for joining me this evening. My name is Keith, and tonight on the Solo Gamers Club, I'd like to preview a new solo variant that I've developed for Argent the Consortium. I don't think I've ever discussed this game on the channel. I've been trying to come up with a viable solo variant for this game ever since it was released, but I haven't been successful until recently. The variant centers around a deck of 48 AI cards that will be controlling the opposing candidate called the bot. With this system, almost all of the rules as written will remain in place, something that I always insist on for any bot that I design. The standard 2-player setup will be used for this variant. I've designed this for the base game, but the Mancers of the University and Summer Break expansions could be included if desired. Now, I'm using the first edition. There is a second edition now. I don't believe there's any major changes. I think what they did is they clarified the rules a bit, and they've changed how the pawns operate. Instead of having a pawn on a base with a token, they just use a colored ring at the bottom to differentiate which candidate that mage belongs to. In essence, the game is played according to the rules as written. The bot actions are going to be controlled by this AI deck. The only portions of the game that will deviate from the rules as written will regard the use of marks and acquisition of bell tower cards. Now, these AI cards feature 5 sections. We have an Errands section, a colors section, a random room generator, odd even, and a random number generator, and those will be useful in controlling the bot during the game. Now, the probabilities for the AI actions have been set according to multiple playthroughs using this system, but they still might need to be adjusted a bit following some further test plays. So I'm going to demonstrate this system by playing 1 day of the game. And as this game has been around for some time, I'm not going to provide a rules explanation in this video. I'm going to limit it just to the explanations of the AI features. Now, regarding bot errands, I've got a table here, an errands table on the rule sheet, and that basically tells the player how to operate the bot with these keywords in the errands section of the card. So as an example, if it was in the errands section of the game and it was the bot's turn, he would turn over a card and we would look at the first entry on the errand section. It says wound. That says use a red sorcery mage, spell, or vault item to wound a random enemy mage. And then we would determine the random enemy mage by using either the odd even if there were, say, 2 out on the board, or a number those numbers go between 1 and 9, and those are specific to helping track down which room that mage might be in. So as an example, if we weren't able to wound a character on the board, we would go on to the secondary, which is IP, and that basically says place a random mage to gain influence points. So you would try to find a way to fulfill that on the board by taking a mage and moving them into that room to gain that benefit. If neither of the two can be fulfilled, we would draw another card. And that's in essence how this is going to work. I'm going to be playing as Larimore Berman in this game. We've set him up according to the rules as written. Our mages are drafted according to the normal rules, and for the bot, we're going to be using the colors section on an AI card in their drafting. So this is the setup for my character. I have the first player token. I randomly determined that. My AI opponent is going to be Exhufern Lamargaris, and her mages have been selected randomly using the cards, and that's what she ended up with. Same rules are in place. You can't have any more than 2 mages of the same color. If the card indicated that she should have a third mage of the same color, we would use either the secondary color or draw a new card. The AI deck is shuffled during each of the setup phases for each turn. Now the changes to the rules as written, most of them will involve 2 sections of the rules. First one is how we're going to handle these voter cards. Now during the game setup, each player is allowed to place 1 mark on a card. So in the case of the human player, we can place that on any card that we want, and then since we're playing solo, we can turn that card over and see what that is. So we'll place Berman's token there, and we end up with the second most supporters. Now regarding the AI bot, they're going to place their token randomly. So what we're going to do is select a card, odd even, to determine either the top row or bottom row, and then we'll select a random number, and we'll just wait until we get a number that is between 1 and 6. So in this case, we will do an odd and even card to determine which row we're going to use. First one is odd, so that'll be the top row. Second card says it's going to be number 7. That's not going to work. And we've got a number 6. So we'll be placing this token in the 6th voter on that top row. Now we don't turn the cards over for the bot. Those will remain hidden. What will happen is when we resolve the voting, for every mark that is on a card, the bot is going to gain 1 extra success towards gaining that card. And that's how we're going to handle that. Now the other section of the rules that's going to deviate from the rules as written will be regarding bell tower cards. The player or bot can hold more than 1 bell tower card, but only if they have no viable actions remaining. In the standard rules, if you take a bell tower card, your turn ends even if you have other actions available. And that will still apply in these rules. However, even if you have taken 1 bell tower card and your turn is technically ended, you are able to have another bell tower card as long as you have no viable actions that you can play. So that is how that is going to work. Now the university is constructed randomly, but we're not going to be using the Great Hall or dormitory rooms in its construction, and we're going to be using all A-side rooms except for the infirmary, which is going to be the B-side. And that's recommended in the 2-player rules in the rule book. And once again, these are going to be laid out randomly. Now when it's the bot's turn, he's going to attempt to use any fast actions that would be available to him. Any reactions that he would have available, he would use to best effect. The only other change to the standard rules is regarding mages being banished. Normally when a mage is banished, it's returned to your office. That will happen in this case, except that the mage will first be returned to the top of your office. During the next turn, then that mage will come into the office and will be able to be redeployed. That's the only change there. So we'll get started. The setup phase is skipped during the first turn because all the decks are refreshed and we're ready to go for the first turn. We'll go to our errands phase and we'll start with the first player, and that's me, Larimore Berman. I notice I have a problem in setup. The astronomy tower should be in the first position. All right, now we're ready to begin, and I'm going to start by doing an errand for Berman. And I think I'm going to begin by using one of my green mages, and I'm going to place that in the library, and that's going to offer us gain a buy and gain 1 research. Now we move on to the bot player, and we're going to flip a card and see what the errand listed at the top of the card suggests. And this says research. All right, so they're going to attempt to acquire some research in one of the rooms of the university. Now they do get a fast action, and we can use that if we choose to. Right now the only fast actions they have are by using one of their planar studies mages, and we'll do that. Now we have a couple choices on how we can approach placing these models. One is to make the best play that you can with this fast action. Obviously we know Berman needs a lot of mana in order to exercise his sorcery mages. So we would probably want to take out a position where he would be gaining mana. But the other way is to draw a random card. And then we'd look at the number. And we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that will tell us where it's going to go. If it comes up in like the infirmary where you can't go, then we would just draw another card. For the sake of this test playthrough, we're just going to draw a card and see what the number is. And we've got number 8. So he's going to be placed in the 8th room, the courtyard, and we'll put him in the best possible position. That's their fast action. Now we need to decide where we're going to go with this card that we drew earlier for research. So first step is to find out which color mage we want to use. And in this case, it says green. So we'll select a green mage, and we're going to place that in a place where we can try to get some research. And it looks like the only place that would be viable for that would probably be in the library. So we'll place that one in the library. This should be here, by the way. And that would get them a research possibility in the future. All right, that is their errand for the bot player. All right, Berman is up next, and just what I said, it's important for Berman to have a lot of mana in order to use his sorcery mages. So we'll probably try to get some mana. We're going to do a fast action, and I'm going to place one of the planar mages in the guilds. That would give us a good chance at getting some mana. And I think we'll place Divinity Mage in that building as well. All right, that is our action. We'll move on to the bot player. Bot's going to draw a card, and we'll see what their activity will be. In this case, they want to cast a spell, so we'll see if that's possible. Well, they have one spell available, and that's that starting spell that the mage would begin with, and that one says Strength of Earth. It'll cost 1 mana. Move an opponent's mage to another open slot in the same room and then replace it with one of your own. All right, well, we'll do that. In this case, there are no open slots in the rooms where Berman has placed a mage, so that spell won't be really viable at this point. So we'll go on to the secondary part of the card, and that says Intelligence. So we're going to use a random mage to attempt to gain some intelligence. So we'll draw a random card, and that says green. So we're going to use a green mage to attempt to get intelligence. And looking at the possibilities, it looks like training fields would be good, gain 1 intelligence. So we'll place that green mage there. All right, Berman is up next, and I think we're going to cast a spell. We're going to use this Flash of Light spell. Now that is a fast action. So we're going to pay 1 mana, tip the card, and then it says as a fast action, banish a mage. So we'll do that. And I think we're going to banish this mage in the library. So we're going to use one of our sorcery mages to take that place. This is banished now, and that's different than being wounded. With the solo rules, we're going to place banished mages above the card, and they'll return to the office during the next turn. That was a fast action, so Berman still has a regular action available. And I think he's going to use one of his mysticism mages, and we'll place that in the council chamber. You can have no more than one mage per player in that room. All right, that's going to complete his round. All right, now it is the bot player's turn, and we'll draw a card. Now that mage that was banished will return in the following round. So we'll draw a card and see what they're going to be up to. And they've got use a vault item. Well, they don't have any. So the next would be wisdom. So they're going to try to gain wisdom, and we'll see what type of mage they want to use. They do have a fast action, and I think they're going to use that first. So we'll place that. So they're going to use one of their planar studies mages, and we'll draw a card and see what room that's going to be placed in. This is number 6. So room 6 would be the adventuring room, and we'll place that in the highest spot available. All right, now for their regular action, we're going to draw another card and find out what color mage they want to use. They have blue and gray available. Green and red won't help. Purple and blue. So blue will work. So we're going to use one of our blue mages, and we will place that in a position that's going to gain some wisdom for the bot. And that looks like it's going to be in the training fields. We'll place that there, and that would give them 1 wisdom if it remains. Berman is up next. Now we do have a sorcery mage that we can use. That would cost us 1 mana to use that, and we would be able to wound an opposing mage. And I think we're going to do that. So I'm going to spend 1 mana. We're going to use our sorcery mage, and we're going to wound, I think, the mage that is in the adventuring area. And we'll take that spot. This is going to go into the infirmary. They'll select the top spot, and they're going to immediately gain 4 gold. So we'll give the bot 4 gold. All right, the bot is up next. Does not have any fast actions. This green mage is going to return to the waiting area, and we'll draw a card and see what their duty is. And it's going to be vault. So what that means is they want to attempt to acquire a vault card if possible. Well, it looks like they'll be able to do that by going to student stores. So what we're going to do then is decide which of our 3 remaining mages will take the action. We'll flip a card and see which one they want to use. Blue or green? Well, it's going to be the green, so we'll place that green mage in the student stores. We'll place that in the top section of the student stores, and that's going to allow them 2 buys. All right, Berman is up next. He has 1 viable action left. He has a planar studies mage, which would be a fast action. So I guess we'll use that. And he has no actions that he could really perform at this point. He's used his spells, and this will be his last mage. So he'll probably be drawing bell tower cards after this. And I think we'll use that planar studies mage in the student stores, and we'll gain a buy there. All right. All right, the bot is up next. They have 2 mysticism mages, and they still have that strength of earth spell that could be cast. So we'll see what they're going to do. In this case, they want to try to wound an opponent. I don't think they have the ability to do that. So in the next step then would be to try to gain IP. So they're going to use a mysticism mage, and I think they will place that in the adventuring area. That does offer them 2 IP. Berman would be up next. He has no viable actions he can take, so he's going to draw one of the 3 bell tower cards. And I think he's going to take this resourcefulness card. All right, the AI player is up next. Now, we can continue to use the AI system, or we could try to help the AI out a little bit. There's a nice combination here that they would use if a human player was directing it. They would probably try to use their spell. And then since they have a mysticism mage, they would be able to place that following the playing of the spell. In this case, Strength of Earth, move an opponent's mage to another open slot in the same room and replace it with one of your own. Well, in this case, they probably won't gain a whole lot of benefit from that because that mage will be placed anyway. So I guess we'll just flip a card and see what we want to do. This time we've got Cast a Spell, so that's what it is. They're going to attempt to cast that Strength of Earth. We'll see if that's viable. And no, it's not. So in this case, all the rooms are filled. You can't move any of the mages. It has to be another space available in order to, an open slot in order to cast that. So they'll just take their standard move, and in this case they'll try to use it for wisdom. In this case, the best that the bot can do would be to use the Astronomy Tower, and that would give them the availability of 1 wisdom with 2 mana possibly. It says here that after moving the marker 1 or more spaces, claim only the reward under it. When the marker would move past the end, return it to the leftmost space. Well, in this case, that really wouldn't give them any wisdom, because if they moved it, they would be getting 2 research. So I don't know if there's any other viable actions. Not really. I guess it would be between the Astronomy Tower and the Council Chamber. So we'll just do an odd-even, I guess. Odd and even to direct the bot. In this case, it's even. So we'll move it to here. They're allowed 1 mage per player in the council chamber. All right, that completes the bot's turn, and it would be back to Berman. Now, normally his turn is done because he's taken a bell tower card. But in these rules, since we're playing a 2-player game, he can select a second bell tower card because he has no other further actions that he can take. So in this case, he has the choice of initiative or popularity. And I think at this point, I would probably take the popularity card. And that's his second. And now, since the bot has no viable actions remaining, they're going to take the last of the bell tower cards. They will get the initiative. So they'll gain the initiative token. And that would complete the errands portion of the turn. Then we go on to the resolution portion, just as we would in a standard game. We start with the upper left-hand corner room, the top of the list, and we start resolving these. First person here is Berman. Gives him 2 buys. All right, so we can buy 2 cards from the vault. Berman's only got 6 gold, so that's only going to allow him to purchase 1 of these. And I think probably we'll purchase this Arcane Eye card for 4. So we'll pay a 5 and get 1 back, and we'll take that card. And then we have to refresh that. The only deck that is not refreshed during the round is the supporters. So we've resolved that. That'll go back to Berman's office. And the next one is a planar mage, and that's also for Berman. It would gain him 1 buy. Well, he doesn't have enough money to purchase any, so if you can't complete that, you can use it to get an IP. So that's what we'll do. And this will be placed back in his office, and we'll give Berman 1 IP. So we'll move Berman's IP up 1. All right. Next room is the guilds, and these should be over here, not in that space, but that's where they are. Okay, we have a planar mage from Berman. He can either gain 6 gold or 3 mana, and I think we're going to take the 6 gold. So we'll give Berman 6 gold. Berman also has a divinity mage in the same room, so he can gain 4 gold or 2 mana. We're going to take the 2 mana. So Berman will gain 2 mana, and we'll place that mage back into his office. Next up is the infirmary. We've already received our reward there, so that's going to go back to the bot player. Then we have the council chambers, starting with Berman. And that allows him to draft a supporter or gain a mark. And I think he's going to gain a mark. And we're going to place that mark on this consortium card, and that allows us to turn that over and find out what we're looking for. In this case, it's the most sorcery. Awards a vote to the player with the most sorcery spells, research, and supporter cards. All right. Also in the council chamber is a mysticism mage from the bot that will allow them to either gain a supporter or a mark. And in this case, what I would probably do is draw an odd even, find out if they want a supporter or a mark. So our odd even is even, so it's going to be a mark. So we'll give them a mark. So they've got a mark to place, and we're going to do this randomly. We'll first start out with an odd even to determine if it's going to be the top or the bottom. And it is even, so that'll be the lower portion. Draw another card, and we're looking for a random number between 1 and 6. It's an 8. We don't want that. Next one is a 3. So that'll be the third one, and they'll place that mark on that consortium card. And once again, that's going to give the bot an extra success towards earning that vote. Next up is the adventuring room, and Berman has sorcery mage there. And that will allow him to either gain a vault card, 2 IP, or gain an intelligence. And I think he's going to take the 2 IP. His IP will be advanced by 2, and that's going to award him a merit badge. And that merit badge allows access to those portions of the rooms that are normally closed off. So that's very valuable. Now the bot has a mysticism mage in the adventuring area as well. It says draw a spell, gain 2 IP, or gain a wisdom. So we'll randomly decide what that's going to be. So we'll flip a random number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The result is a 4, so it'll be the middle. They're going to gain 2 IP. So we'll advance the bot up 2, and that's going to earn them a merit badge as well. Next up, the bot has 2 units in the training fields. First one is gain an intelligence. And that's simple enough. We'll give them an intelligence token. Next is gain a wisdom, and we'll give them a wisdom token. All right. All right, next is the courtyard. They have a planar studies mage there. And they have 2 choices, gain a mana, well, it's gain a mana equal to your wisdom. Their current wisdom is 3, I believe. Yeah, that's correct. They're going to gain 3 mana for that. It's a good move on their part. And finally, oh, this one should be put back. Did I resolve that? I don't know if I did. Maybe I forgot to do that. Well, since this is just a playthrough, we'll assume that we've done that already. I think I did. I think they took the 2 IP. Yeah, we did resolve that. Okay, now we'll go to the library. We have a sorcery mage in there from Berman, and his options are to gain a buy and gain a research. Well, the buy he won't be able to use. Well, he does. He's got some money now. That's true. So we can gain a buy. So he can purchase a vault card. And I think at this point he would probably take the treasure. We're going to pay 5 gold and take this sealed scroll. I think that would be a good card for Berman. And we'll put that into his tableau. And that also gave him a research action. And in this case, we're going to take a spell. And I think we will probably take this Pursuit of Power. So we're going to place one of our intelligence tokens on there, and we're going to take the card. That's going to offer him warmth, gain 2 mana. So we'll give that to Berman. And technically we have to refresh that vault item. Mystic Amulet. The bot has 1 mage left. That's a natural magic mage in the library, and that says gain an intelligence, or gain a wisdom, or gain a research. So we'll just do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll draw a card. And that random number is 7, so that'll be 3, 6, 9. Okay, so it's going to be the research. And in that case, they are going to draw a spell. So regarding the spells, we'll do a random draw for a number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we've drawn 9, so it's going to be the last card. They're going to take Heart of the Mountain. And they're going to place a intelligence token on there. And they'll gain that oak skin spell. And we'll refresh that spell card. All that's left is to resolve these bell tower cards that we have. It's gain an IP, and then either gain a gold or a mana. And we're going to take the mana, I think, in that case. And the IP will be added in as well. So Berman will gain an IP. As for the bot, they selected initiative, so they are going to gain the initiative token for the next round. And that's basically how the bot is going to play. We would start our next round. We'll get rid of round 1. It becomes round 2. We would shuffle our AI deck. We do that during the upkeep phase. All of both players' cards that were tilted would be put back to upright for use during the next turn, and we would just continue on the way we're going. And then eventually, when we get to the end of the 5th round, we would score the Consortium cards normally, except whenever there's a bot mark on it, it would gain 1 extra success towards earning that card. And that's basically how this system is going to work. Now, normally I don't like to post the variants unless they've been fully tested, but I think in this case I'm going to post this at the BGG site in the files section for Argent. And then maybe one of the viewers that would like to try this out can run it up the flagpole and see if it waves. So that's going to bring this video to a close. I hope you enjoyed this preview of the variant system that I developed. I can't tell you how many hours I've spent over the years trying to get this game to be able to be played solitaire. And a few days ago I was brushing my teeth and I hadn't thought about this game in years, and all of a sudden it just popped into my melon. And I said, wait a minute, I can do this with a deck of AI cards if I structure it properly, and it should give a good feel for an AI bot to play against. And it seems that this is working out pretty well. So we'll have to let you take a look at this, and if you end up trying it out, I hope it works for you. So at this point, this is Keith from the Solo Gamers Club. I'm going to sign off, and I'm going to wish everyone a pleasant evening. Good night.